there's a war going on, and one of the most challenging things we need to do is listen. Although it is hard, we must listen to the other side. In our case, we, the Israelis, must listen to the Palestinians. Let's start with the women. The female voice is not heard enough in the Middle East. What do Palestinian women have to say? What do Palestinian mothers have to say?
رسالة لكل أم فلسطينية أن تحث أبنائها على الجهاد. الجهاد في سبيل الله أسماء مالينا. والذي أليست هو جهاد، أليست هو شهادة. إذا كان الموت حق فعار علينا إلا أن نموت شهداء.
رياض الأطفال تابعة لأخواتنا في حركة المقاومة الإسلامية حماس، فعندما نجد أنه الأطفال منذ الصغر يتربين على هذه الثقافة، الله غايتنا في سبيل الله، فتنمى عند الأطفال منذ الطفولة حب الجهاد وحب لقاء الله وحب مقارعة الأعداء، كل هذا منذ الطفولة.
ثم أنا الشهادة وسام شرف لأهل الشهيد في الدنيا غير مقامه في الآخرة، نعتبرها إحنا وسام شرف لأهله في الدنيا.
وأنا الحمد لله والله أولادي وكل هيتهم لو كلهم يستشهدوا في سبيل الله أنا بكون مبسوطة. يعني أنا الحمد لله هذا الطريق بحبها. ينجبون أعدادا كبيرة من البنات والبنين. كان الرد جميل. الرد جميل. نحن ننجب هؤلاء بكثرة لندفعهم حتى للموت.
I imagine you're saying to yourself that this is horrible. How can mothers say that they have a lot of children so that they can become martyrs? Or you might be thinking that I did some cherry picking here, that it doesn't really represent the Palestinians. Maybe you are right, but I think I can prove that you are wrong, and I will be doing that shortly. Let's move on to the religious leaders. One of the many things that the West doesn't understand about Palestinian society and about Arab Muslim society in general is the importance of religion and how it affects people's political worldview. In Europe, religion is seen as a private thing. I can go to a synagogue, he can go to a church, and she can go to a mosque. Cool. You are free to say that you don't believe in God. And in fact, the majority of Western Europe is secular. In Europe, you don't have Protestant yelling, Jesus is great, while blowing up Catholic churches. Catholics and Protestants did used to put a lot of time and energy into killing one another, but they stopped doing that 400 years ago because they learned to accept and respect their different beliefs. In the US, religion does play a more significant role in politics, but you don't have people from Texas killing New Yorkers for not believing in Jesus or for believing in Jesus the wrong way. The tourists I have guided have mostly been Christians from the US. Not once did any of them tell me that they've heard a priest in a church talking about killing non-Christians. In Muslim society, it is different.
وقد أخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن شهيد أهل الكتاب، الشهيد اللي يقتل على أيدي أهل الكتاب، شهيد بشهيدين، يعني له أجر شهيدين، بعكس الذي يقتل في أي معركة من معارك الكفار.
نعم.
أهل الكتاب واليهود وهم اليهود.
فأي طعن أزكى من الشهادة؟ أي خاتمة أجمل من الموت في سبيل الله؟ اللهم عليك بيهود، اللهم عليك بيهود، شل أركانهم ودمر كيانهم ومزق أمرهم واجعل بأسهم شديدا. اللهم مكنا من رقاب يهود، اللهم مكنا من رقاب يهود، اللهم مكنا من رقاب يهود. اللهم عليك بالكفار والملاحدة والمشركين، أحصهم عددا واقتلهم بددا ولا تغادر منهم أحدا.
بدي أحلف يمين على الهواء مباشرة الآن إنه لن يبقى يهودي واحد على هذه الأرض، إنه لن نبقي يهودي على أرضنا الإسلامية مطلقا، لا صغير ولا كبير، لا مستوطن لا جندي لا شرقي ولا غربي، لن يبقى يهودي على أرض الإسلام والمسلمين. وهذا قسم مش أنا بقسمه عن حالي، هذا بقسمه عن الشعب الفلسطيني كله، وعن الأمة العربية والإسلامية كلها، وعن أمتنا اللي بتمتد من الشرق إلى الغرب. وإذا العدو مش فاهم هذه المعادلة بيكون غبي، هو أصلا غبي.
أنه ينبغي أن نعتقد عقيدتك في اليهود أن القتال معهم دائم ولن ينتهي حتى القتال الأخير. ودي الرابعة في عقيدتك في اليهود أنهم سنقاتلهم وسنهزمهم وسنستأصل شأفتهم فلا يعود على ظهر الأرض يهودي واحد. ليس لأنني أقول ذلك، بل هي البشارة. لن تقوم الساعة حتى تقاتلوا اليهود.
Understanding the religious aspect of the conflict is crucial, and yet the mainstream media avoid this topic at all costs. This is why you hear so much about the occupation, about the land, so it can be depicted as a fight over a piece of land. But that's not what this fight is about. This is principally a religious conflict, and it is not regional. The West is next.
ولكن الإسلام اليوم يرجع، غدا الإسلام الغرب سيسلم. لا يوجد بديل للغرب غير الدين الإسلامي. لا يوجد
أبدا. لا يوجد بديل.
لا يوجد
للغرب.
بديل ديني للغرب إلا الإسلام.
ليه؟
وأن آياتنا ليس تحرير فلسطين فقط، بل وتحرير هذا العالم المريض والإفراط من الظلمات إلى النور. والله لو أخرجنا اليهود من فلسطين، لو أخرجناهم من فلسطين وأخرجناهم من بيت المقدس دون أن يسلموا ولو ذهبوا آخر العالم، سنلاحقهم وسندعوهم إلى الإسلام، وندعو هوش الإسلام، وندعو جميع النصارى للإسلام. نعم ديننا دين الرحمة.
As you can imagine, this kind of environment affects the children. Here are some examples.
كنا نسأل هتلر لما ترك البعض منكم كي يرينا كما أنتم خبيثون، كي يرينا كما أنتم خبيثون. من تحت الأرض نخرج إليكم ندق الرعب في قلوبكم، ومن فوق الأرض بصواريخنا نقطعكم أشلاء.
كلهم لازم يهجموا على اليهود وما يخلوش ولا يهود في أرض فلسطين.
عمليات الدعس وعمليات الطعن والاشتباك المسلح في المخيمات.
إيش أكيد هدول العمليات ترفع الراس ولفلسطين. العمليات هاي تحت الدعس والسكاكين هاي إيش بيرفع الراس لفلسطين.
What is there to say? To finish the picture, a few comments from the political leaders.
باب العمود مع بعض. لا أهلنا في القدس. لا أهلنا في القدس.
أن ينتهي وين؟ بقطاع غزة؟
لا بتكلم عن كل أراضي فلسطين.
كل الأراضي الفلسطينية يعني وين إسرائيل؟
طبعا وجود إسرائيل غير منطقي، لذلك ما حدا يلومنا إحنا شو اللي بنعمله. في 7 أكتوبر، في 10 أكتوبر، في مليون أكتوبر، إحنا اللي بنعمله مبرر. It is justified.
هذه مش شعارات، هذا مش شعارات نحكي. هذا عندنا الفاضي.
There is this notion in the West, especially in the center and to the left of the political spectrum, that Hamas or Hezbollah are radical groups that have taken control of innocent population. No, they are not. And this is actually a really patronizing view. Listen to the other side. Most Palestinians agree with the basic policies of Hamas. Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, Taliban, the Houthis do represent the opinions of a large part of the Muslim world. Is it 30%? Is it 40 or 50 or 70%? We can argue about that. But the political leaders do represent the people. It is not easy to watch what I've just shown you, and it is not comfortable to confront it. You might accuse me of cherry picking. If you look at the BBC, for example, you will see other kinds of videos.
Stay there.
and the house that we stayed in, we thought it was good, and we found shelter finally. A house next to it was bombed. The house jiggled, and the house went crazy, and the windows broke. What was I supposed to do? My brother was shaking. I'm terrified.
Simply hoping to feed their families. I am one of the wounded, this man says. I was on Al Rashid Street.
So which videos better represent the Palestinians? The ones I've shown you, taken from Palestinian TV, or the BBC ones? The videos shown by the BBC are made in English for the Brits to portray the Palestinians as victims. They all follow the same line. We are suffering because of Israel. We are victims. In the BBC videos, you won't hear ordinary people making political statements, and they won't be asked interesting questions. The BBC reporters won't ever ask, do you support Hamas? Why did this war start? What happened on October 7th? Do you support the two-state solution? Should Israel exist as a Jewish state next to Palestine? The videos I have shown you were taken from the Palestinian TV, so they were made for the Palestinians themselves. They make clear their intentions and what they wish for. Which source would you say is more likely to represent the truth? To all this, you might say that there are extremists on both sides. In Israel, there are also people with extreme right-wing views, and you are right, but also wrong. First, you will never hear a Jewish mother say that she wants her child to die as a terrorist. That would never happen. And you will never hear an Israeli extremist say that all Muslims must die. And to say that there are extremists on both sides is to say everything and nothing at the same time. Yes, there are extremists on both sides, but there are extremists in every country. The question is, what role do the extremists play? Let me give you an example. Many young people in the West are pro-Palestinians. So here's an example aimed at millennials and Gen Zs, Zoomers. I read that about 20% of Gen Z see themselves as non-binary and part of the LGBTQ plus family. Now, in both Israel and Gaza, you can find people that don't like gays. Yet in Israel, most of society accepts gay people. They can adopt children, there are gay clubs, and there is a gay member of parliament from the Conservative Party. Go and ask the Palestinians what they think about gay people. Do you know what they do to non-binary people in Gaza, the West Bank, and the countries surrounding Israel? They take them to the top of a high building to see if they can fly. Spoiler alert, non-binary people cannot fly. And I could easily give you 10 more examples. Have you ever wondered why Arab Muslim countries don't enjoy democracy, freedom of speech, or freedom of religion? The reason they are not democratic is not because of colonialism and not because of capitalism. It is because of their set of values. Listen to their political and religious leaders. Listening to the other side is associated with trying to understand the other side, with compromise, with being willing to live together despite having different opinions. And I am all for it. But what if you listen to the other side, and the other side is very clearly saying to you that it wants to annihilate you, and is acting on it? Sadly, this is the situation we are in. This is not about colonialism, it is not about occupation. There haven't been any Israelis in Gaza for 20 years. And the Arabs have said no to every partition plan that has been proposed since 1937. This war is about values. Israelis cherish life, and they cherish death. Those are not my words. It is what the Arab leaders themselves say. We are fighting not because we aren't listening. We are fighting because we are listening. We Israelis want peace. We want the other side to want peace as well. But if you listen to them, really listen to them, you will hear that what they want is to eliminate Israel and the West. To create a better future, we must first get rid of our delusions and then eradicate radical Islam, Hamas and their jihadist friends. As Golda Meir, the former Prime Minister of Israel, once said, peace will come when the Palestinians love their children more than they hate us? If you agree with me, please subscribe, like, and share this video. Send it to any of your friends who need to see it. Send it to family members who haven't seen enough Palestinian TV recently. See you next week. Yalla bye.